The last thing I'm going to show you here is this house. And so we're going to need a door. We're going to take this door here. And we're going to need one window. And we're going to need this trim here as well, this trim board. And we're going to go ahead and take this roof that we've done here as well, so hold shift and drag out a copy of that as well. And that's all we're going to need. So I'm going to move this over. So these three here are kind of extra pieces for right now, so I'm just going to move them over here. And we're just going to focus on the house. I'm going to drag select this house here. And we will go ahead and isolate selection so we can kind of see this clearly. So first thing that we're going to do is take this roof and put it on top of the house. So we'll do T for top view, Z to zoom in. And we'll go ahead and bring it over here and kind of put it on top. Bring this board over. And we'll go back to our front view. Grab our roof and move it down. And we're going to hit P for perspective. Kind of put our stuff where we would go. So this door, I'm just going to grab the place tool. And I'm going to click and drag it to the pop out here of the facility, the building. Press W and pull it out just a little bit. And the window, I'm going to do the same thing. Place tool. I'm going to drag it over to the side here. Press W and pull it out just a little bit. So here, got a few things that we want to go over. So let's first kind of set up the roof. So we're going to go ahead and move it a little bit higher, about half the window from here. And let's see what preserve UVs looks like. We'll pull this up. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So we'll go just a little bit up, and you don't want the black line up there. We'll just kind of get the wood grain. Looks nice. We're going to hide that anyway. Okay, that looks good. So we'll go ahead and add the shell. No, well, you do the same thing as we've done before. Add the shell modifier and give it the thickness, and then UV it. And then we could come in here with, say, something like swift looped afterwards, and grab this edge here and pull it down, so we get a little bit of a curve. Let's see, and I would turn off preserve V's first, and then we'd move it down. So kind of roof sags a little bit. Looks nice. So it looks like we need to be in our left view too. So left view, Z, and for the roof, we're going to turn on preserve UVs, and we're going to go into vertice mode, select these, and pull them out a little bit past the building, and grab these and go out a little bit past the building. There we go. Turn that off. P for perspective. There we go. So this board here, let's drag it over. We'll go to our left view, Z, and just kind of center it. Press the R for scale, and then on the Y, we'll shrink it in here. P for perspective. Alright, and so we'll do our rotate. Looks like I need to go to my pivot. I don't know why it's glitching, but rotate. We'll do effect pivot, center to object, turn that off, and then we're going to rotate this 90 degrees. There we go. And just kind of put this up against the house. Ta-da! Now we should probably be going off of our door, so let's get our door, and we're just gonna kind of bring it down to the bottom here. That's just about where we want it. We want our building structure probably lower. So let's go ahead and go up to Edit Poly. We'll just simply grab our border, selects it automatically, but you can also just click it. And then we're going to pull it down to about the top of the door. Something like that. And then we'll grab our wood beam and bring it back down. So we can also, we're going to use this to duplicate the other areas, but we'll leave it there for now. Go ahead and move this window over. It's a really gigantic window. I think I'm going to scale this down on the X and the Y a little bit. Let's see. There we go. It's a little bit better size for that. And we're going to take this structure here, and let's hold Shift and drag up. Bam. We're going to make this a copy, and I'm going to call this base wood. And I'm also just going to scale it perfectly right in the center here out to our wood piece, just the middle. So you can see right there. Bam. And that's good. So that's right where I want it. I'm going to bring it down over so it just overlaps into the wood a little bit, this corner. You can see in wireframe, right, it's overlapping. And we're going to have to do some modifications. So let's go ahead and let's UV this top portion. So we'll select it. We'll put our unwrap on there. Open UV editor. We're just going to do reset UVs. And for this one, because there's no door, I'm just going to put a seam. So I'll go to Edge Mode 2 on your keyboard. I'm going to press this edge here. And I'm just going to do Convert Edge to Seam. And then we'll go ahead, go Polygon Mode, Element, select our element, and then do Quick Peel. And then here I'm going to have to rotate this. And we can turn off our rotate snapping and just kind of get it just right. And I'm then going to go to freeform. I can press Control and drag it out. Not sure how big. We'll just put it here for now, and we're good to go. So we'll go ahead and right click, collapse to, hold yes. So we're going to have to assign our textures to this. Alright, so we'll go ahead and bring our textures over, and we're going to take this kind of rock for now and use this on our bottom portion. And there we go. It's loading. And then the wood we'll put on the top portion. Alright, so now for the wood pieces, now that we've got this part kind of going, we just need to fix some of this up. So we're going to go into border mode, and we'll select this border and press W. And we just want to move it down until it's, so let's go into our, let's do front view, and I'm just going to move it down until it lines up with the roof. Looks like something went a little crooked. Oh, it's just the slant that I did. So we might have to go back up just a little bit for now. Okay. So we're going to need to add an edge here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to Swift Loop, and we'll add it in right there. I can press 1 to go to vertice mode, and I will click this one vertice here. You might have to click off and click on. And then I'm just going to move this down so it's a little bit below the roof. And since I can see these easier, I'm just going to go ahead and drag those down too, so they're just a little bit below the roof. And I'm going to go to edge mode and just drag select these two areas. And under edit edges, we're going to do a connect so it's perfectly in the center. Check the box. And I'm going to go to vertice mode, control click these 2 points and move them up. And then here you can see where our vertices are. So we're in the back view, so I can either do that or the front view. So I can hit F for front, and I can just kind of see where we're off a little bit. So I want to bring that over here. P for perspective. You can see. Okay. That is looking pretty good. And the texture should not be wigging out. What we can do is we'll select this back point and this front point, press F3, and yeah, Control Z. So it's just wigging out. So we'll just have to reset peel or quick peel this again, but that's okay. Alrighty, so now we're going to grab the front edge here of this, and we're also going to have a slant here as well, so we'll just pull this down. Let's see what kind of roof. Yeah, I don't know why it's wigging out, but that's okay. Something like this, and that looks good. So to get this in line, we'll select our wood base. Let's get our unwrap on there. UV editor. And yeah, you can see the UVs went wonky on one side. Anyway, so we'll just select all of it, and we're just going to do relax custom a couple times. Seems to kind of straighten it out, except for some areas. Maybe we'll try relax until flat. Yeah. So that seemed to help quite a bit. We could go ahead and take this edge and straighten it. Looks good to me. We could do a few touch-ups on this, but I think that's pretty good. And then we'll go ahead and collapse to, hold yes. Now, as you can imagine, with this board now, we can simply Press W, pull it to the back side. I'm going to rotate it, hold Shift, up, Control Z, and we need to do snapping, hold Shift. We're going to do 90 degrees, and we want this to be on the outer edge here as well. And then we scale it in. And so you could do this a couple ways. I could scale it like so, and then take these two and scale them so the ends are kind of popping out. I kind of like that. That looks nice. Right, and we'd also hold Shift. Maybe want to have another one up here on top. And if they look too thick, right, you can always scale them, make them different sizes. And our roof, we're going to, just for now, we're going to go ahead and put a shell. And it should keep the inner mount as 1. And that looks pretty good, even though it's kind of stretching the pixels. So we do get some thickness there. Might even want to do a 2. But I could do several things with the boards going around so I can get that detail in here. And then for the roof, I can simply drop down to Edit Poly, grab a polygon here. I'm going to press W and hold Shift, and maybe do roof, house, small, turn that off, back up to shell, and there we go. And here we could do our front view and just kind of rotate this and put it on top. And then we can put a shell modifier on it. And then now we have a additional small roof here. And what I would normally do is maybe put a board, so maybe I'll duplicate this one up and scale it. So it's kind of an attachment, could say. And it's a little bit crooked, so just drag this edge down a little bit. There we go. So we do a similar thing for the concrete. So what we're going to do, or the brick, rock. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to go ahead and put in where my door would be. So let's go ahead and let's just do the house and the door and isolate selection. And then isolate again. There we go. So for where the door is going to be, I'm going to just go ahead and select the house only. Go to Swift Loop. I'm going to put an edge on the inside and on the inside here as well. And then I'm going to select this polygon that's behind the door, and I'm just going to delete that. I don't need that right now. And that also will make UVing really easy. So now I can just go to Edit Poly, then put the unwrap on it, open UV Editor, and I'm just going to select everything and do Reset Peel. And then rotate that. Yeah, I always hate that, but we'll just drag select, whoops, turn off element mode. I can select one edge also and just do ring, and then select the vertical with separate pivots. And I select this edge and do loop. Whoops, right, that's ring. Loop. And then we'll do separate pivots for the horizontal. There we go. Now you can see our brick is looking super huge. We can view it on here if we wanted. I'm going to move it down to this corner as I like to do, and I'll just do freeform, hold control, and you know, I'm thinking like kind of a little bit above the halfway point. And I think I'm going to right click and do flip vertically. There we go. Yeah, now it looks like it's facing a little bit better. Aha! So now we'll go ahead and close that, right click, collapse. That's looking pretty good. Now let's go into edge mode, and we can select one edge, go into our selection rollout and do ring. Now we want to deselect the edges of where the door is, and we're just going to go ahead, turn on preserve UVs under edit geometry, and then under edit edges we're going to do a chamfer, and we want to do a chamfer of, we'll say 2. It could even do 3. Why not? I don't know. But it looks like about 7 is good. 7 of a chamfer and 3 times. And we'll just check this box. And our UVs are still rock solid. And for these 2 edges here, I'm going to select those and just go ahead and pull these back a little bit more. And then grab my door and move my door in. So it's kind of, whoops, kind of inset a little bit inside. And we could do more, but that's looking pretty good. So now we can go ahead and end isolate. And we've got a pretty good looking house. Right, we'd still duplicate some boards. You know, I think these ones are a little too thick, so I might shrink those up a little bit more to look more appropriate for the house. We can change, our pivots are the right way. There you go. So those look a little bit more accurate. So I would just continue to duplicate these boards to get, make sure this house looks the way I might like it. The window, right, I would need to also put some boards around it as well. I could scale it some more if need be, right. I could put the door in more, but you'd get the idea of going through and putting the boards all in the appropriate spots so that it looks like it's got supports and it doesn't look kind of so wonky. May not need to put, you know, any boards on the edge here, but sometimes it does add a little touch to it. And so that is it for the modular section. Right, there's a lot of things that you can do with duplicating. I can hold shift and duplicate this out, and if I want a taller tower, do a copy, select our tower mid, go to border mode. We want to make sure we have preserve UVs on, and I can just pull this up And then now I have a taller tower ready to go. And if I was wanting to do a walkway, I can duplicate these out and make a copy. And I'm just going to scale these in for a walkway. And scale them this way. And then maybe I don't want it that tall. I could bring this down. Right, and so we can unwrap this, but let's just go ahead, since this is a walkway, we would not need this polygon or this polygon. We'll just delete those. This will make this a whole lot easier to line up the UVs and everything. So we'll just go ahead and put our unwrap on it now, and we can just do quick planar map. So we'll open our UV editor. Our gizmo's way over there for some reason. So let's go ahead and put this on the Y. And I'm going to reset my pivot here because it's kind of glitching. Select the, let's go in the polygon mode, select those. There we go. That's because I didn't have anything selected. That's why I was over here. So we select these two. Got to ignore back facing on. Okay. Then we can just do our on the Y. And we can simply come in here and scale this up till it lines up pretty close. Looks good to me. Could do the same thing with these pieces if we wanted by deleting the middles and just keeping the outside. We would need to re-UV this section, and that's okay. Then we could take our tower and duplicate it over as well, and then we start to be able to create a castle, fortress, or city. And if you see any glitching like this, we can just simply move the door out a little bit and it should be fine. There we go. So now we almost, if we went in here and spent the time, we'd be able to have a modular city.